I get the band. Run it, run it, run it, run it. Whoop, whoop. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. Run up, run up, run up, run up, run it back. I get it back and I run it up.
Welcome to the Roll Call, the first episode of 2025, where we explore our network to harness its collective potential. During this roll call, we will get to dialogue with experts, professionals, and talents to learn of the opportunities in their areas of expertise, as well as solutions to our common problems. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's show. It is my pleasure to be your host as we deep dive into Nigeria's exciting world of real estate investments. Our topic for today is emerging trends in Nigeria real estate, including where to invest now as you understand property ownership and title documentation in Nigeria. Have you ever asked yourself the question, how do I invest? How do I even get started in real estate investment in Nigeria? Maybe you even have family or friends asking the same questions. Well, I think you came to the right place today, so welcome. To help us navigate this conversation, we have two distinguished guests having a wealth of knowledge and experience in real estate and legal law. Our first guest holds a Bachelor's of Science in Accountancy from Imo State University, and he also has an MBA from Ahmadu Bello University. With 11 years of at Bank of Nigeria, he developed a keen understanding of finance and investments before successfully transitioning into the real estate industry, where he has truly made his mark. One of his notable achievements includes contributing to initiatives addressing Nigeria's housing deficits, demonstrating his commitment to shaping the industry. Beyond his professional success, he is also a dedicated family man and is married with 3 wonderful kids. He is also a proud alumnus of Federal Government College Port Harcourt, 98 sets, where he was in the Glory House. He brings expertise and passion for investors and aspiring homeowners to navigate the property ownership and title documentation in Nigeria. Please join me to our first esteemed guest, Godswill Umesi. Welcome to the roll call.
Thank you, Treasure, and it's nice having me on this show as we discuss the emerging trends in Nigerian real estate. As you just mentioned, it's a very important topic in Nigeria. Of course, you know that real estate is a basic need of humanity, and the need of real estate cannot be overemphasized. The importance can never be emphasized. So I believe that our guests will enjoy our discussion today, our family, FGC family, and even international community watching us today. You're welcome once again.
Awesome. Thank you, Godswill. We are excited to hear from you today. And we are also thrilled to have another.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We're also thrilled to have another alumnus of FGC Port Harcourt, 98 sets, joining us today for the insightful discussion on emerging trends in Nigeria real estate. He is a seasoned legal expert with a strong foundation in real estate law. He also graduated from Imo State University as a lawyer and also honed his legal expertise at the Nigerian Law School, where he obtained his Barrister of Law. His legal background has been instrumental in shaping his successful career in real estate, as well as guiding investors and property owners through the very critical process of sales, ownership rights, and proper documentation when acquiring property in Nigeria. With his in-depth knowledge of property law and market dynamics, he has helped many confidently and carefully navigate the complex landscape of real estate transactions. Beyond his professional achievements, He is also a movie enthusiast and enjoys unwinding with a good film or good movie. He is also happily married and is balancing a thriving career with a fulfilling family life. Please join me as well in welcoming Barrister Ifeanyi Ayaun. Welcome to the roll call.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I believe everybody would learn a thing or two about the legal aspects of real estate in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We look forward to your conversation. And with that, we're going to segue into the presentations from the guest speakers.
Okay, so today we are going to delve into understanding the emerging trends in Nigerian real estate. Where to invest now, as you understand property ownership and title documentation in Nigeria. You know, we don't just want you to invest in Nigeria without understanding the legal aspect of your investment and the documentation that is needed. So we're going to give you an overview and make you understand the trends that are coming up in Nigerian real estate and why you should invest now, and basically even give you direction on where you can invest. So as a way of introduction, I want to give you an overview of Nigeria real estate market. So the next slide will just be talking about what makes Nigeria big. You know, Nigeria real estate market is one of the most dynamic in Africa because Nigeria, of course, is the largest economy in Africa. And Nigeria, we have a population of over 250 million. In fact, we don't have the population census in the last 10 years or more. And the projection is that we are more than 250 million in Nigeria. So you find out that there is a need for housing. There is a deficit in the housing sector. From the CBN projection, it says that we are having a deficit of 20 million houses. And if we are going to build at least 800,000 houses every year, it will take Nigeria 25 years to fill that housing deficit. So because of the population growth, population explosion, urbanization, evolving economic policies, is making Nigeria to have a wide range of need in the real estate market. And of course, like I said, Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa. Now, there are key drivers in the real estate market. I just mentioned it slightly. One is urbanization and population growth. You know, back in the days when young boys finish school, what they will be talking about is moving to the cities to go and fend for a living. Either they go to Port Harcourt, Lagos, or Abuja. You find out that a lot of cities are being populated by people from the rural areas. And aside that urbanization, there is also population growth. Nigeria is having explosion in population. So you find out that we are not able to meet our housing needs in Nigeria. And of course, I want to mention that housing is a basic need of human being. If you go by Abraham Maslow's law of hierarchy of needs, you find out that the three basic needs of man is food, clothing, and shelter. So once human beings are able to satisfy their feeding appetites, they have clothing. The next thing they will be looking for is housing. So it's a basic need, it's not a want. It's something that everybody needs every day. So there is this population growth affecting housing. And this urbanization is also talking about emerging cities that are coming up. Lagos has been there as a forefront city in Nigeria. Abuja came up as a capital, and a lot of people are migrating to Abuja, just like the way they did in Lagos. Port Harcourt is also there, is urbanized, and a lot of people are migrating to there. So you find out that this movement, migration of people to urban centers, makes the need for real estate to be available for them to stay. Then another driver of Nigerian real estate market is infrastructural development. In the current years, government has been investing in infrastructure, massive infrastructure, deployment of roads, deployment of drainage system, deployment of bridges, even building smart cities, making a lot of people comfortable in different places they are staying. So those infrastructure development is also attracting real estate investment and making people to develop those areas. They don't just want people to stay in closed up urban areas. They are trying to expand the cities and develop new areas by developing or deploying infrastructure development. Then there is also another aspect of the drivers of real estate in Nigeria. We call it technological advancement or protech. A lot of technological advancement is coming into real estate where you can be in the comfort of your home, even if you don't want to do site inspection by going out physically. There are technology that can be used to conduct virtual inspections. So by then, people will feel comfortable to even be where they are, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, and they'll conduct virtual inspection. Once they are able to see virtually what they are buying, they are at peace to buy. Some people can even deploy technology that will make you select pieces of land that you want to buy. Of course, even in Abuja, there is what we call AGIS, Abuja Geographic Information System, where all the land information is registered in the system. And I'm sure that many states are also adopting that technology. So the technological advancements in real estate has also helped it to develop. Then you also have foreign and local investments. Real estate, like I said, is a booming investment. So a lot of people are interested in it. Is attracting both local investments and international investors. So it's one of the drivers in real estate market. It's making, bringing up the luxury housing, the short term rentals, and even the commercial real estate, because a lot of people are not just relying on the regular hotel. Some people want to build apartments that people can stay without having the feel of a regular hotel. So there is also the need for affordable housing. Government is always bringing up the affordable housing initiative so that the larger populace, especially the civil servants and people on the lower strata of income, will be able to afford different types of houses. So there is always different initiatives they bring. Currently, there is an initiative that is going on. They call Renewed Hope Agenda, the Presidential Renewed Hope Cities Agenda, where the president is investing and pushing in funds through the government to make housing affordable. The project was piloted in Abuja, is in Lagos, in Kano, and it's going to be done in different parts of the country. They have a target of building at least 250,000 houses within 1 year. So those kind of initiatives also make investment to boom in real estate. So as we move, we should also look at some other emerging trends in Nigerian real estate. As we move to the next slide, we find out that there is also smart and sustainable development. You know, there's a clamor for smart homes. When you are building the modern homes we have today, you are not just making it to look like the old ancient homes we are having in the past. With deployment of technology like smart home technology, you can even use your phone to lock your house. You can access your home from your phone, from the comfort of your home, wherever you are. So deployment of those smart technology and sustainable development initiative also help to increase real estate investment in Nigeria. Is an emerging trend because energy consumption is high. So we want a sustainable development initiative that will make energy to be less consumed in your homes. So there are initiatives that will make you to manage your home in a very smart way. There are deployments that are done in your house that your lightning may not just be on every time. Once you come in, maybe motion sensor, your lightning will come up. As you are no longer there, the lightning will go out. There are so many of those smart initiatives that will make your home very eco-friendly and less energy consumption. Then I've also talked about the affordable home initiative so that we'll not repeat it again because of want of time. There is always the need and initiative to provide affordable housing. And apart from the Presidential Renewed Hope Housing Scheme, there is also Mortgage Bank that is providing mortgage loans to civil servants and even people who are working and contributing to the National Housing Scheme, packaging housing loans for them, either through the federal government mortgage or even through commercial mortgages. These initiatives are geared towards making housing very affordable in Nigeria. Then I also want to find out and educate us about a trend that is also emerging in Nigeria. We call it high mixed use development is rising very frequently in Nigeria. Now, before you could find a piece of land that is designated for residential, some other piece of land designated for commercial, some other places for play. But now there is a high rise in mixed use development where you have developments like work, play, and live. There are developments people are building now within a community. They deploy commercial properties there. They deploy residential properties there. Then they also deploy recreational activities or recreational properties within that same locality. So is basically what we call work, live, and play. So there is a rise in this kind of initiative that people just build a smart city, create a city that you may not even need to go out from that city. You just have your office there, work there, live there, and have recreational there. So it's quickly rising in Nigeria and is an emerging trend in Nigerian real estate. I've also talked about the growth of technology and government policies. Government policies are affecting the trend in real estate. Government is also trying to renew the urban areas. Like I said before, Lagos has been the pilot place of real estate in Nigeria. A lot of migration has been done in Lagos, then moved to Port Harcourt, moved to Abuja. Government is also trying to make more infrastructure deployed in different smaller cities so that people will not just cluster Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. So those are the trends that are coming up. And the advantage is that a lot of infrastructure deployment are being made in all those areas to make people have comfortable cities to live in. Now, having understood the trend that is going on in Nigeria, I want us to go to the next slide to see where we can invest now in real estate in Nigeria. Because the essence of what we are trying to do is to make you understand the trends that are happening in Nigeria and also to guide you in places you can invest. Now, I want to say that investment may not necessarily be tailored down to cities. There are key areas that you can fix your mind. It's either you want to do by city or by sector. And I also want to let us know that real estate, as we always say, you don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. There's basically no place you can invest in real estate that you will not live to enjoy it. You have return on investment in the near future. So if your funds are not able to buy in the big cities, your funds will definitely be able to buy in the small cities or even in the village, even where you see that is called bush. When you buy it and wait, it will definitely transform to a city tomorrow. So in Nigeria, here are the top cities that are emerging as hotspots in real estate in Nigeria. Of course, Lagos is always carrying number one because it's fully developed and the need for housing is always there. Lagos is an international city that hosts a lot of international conference, hosts a lot of international companies and a lot of high network individuals. So even the hotels in Lagos are not enough for guests that come into Lagos for programs. So there is this emerging trend of Airbnb and apartments that are coming up. So Lagos is an investment hub for anybody that wants to make so much money from real estate in Nigeria. Then following Lagos is Abuja. Of course, you know that Abuja is the federal capital of Nigeria that hosts a lot of inflow of politicians, businessmen, contractors, and so on and so forth, especially even civil servants. So there is a huge gap for housing. There is huge need for housing. So if you invest in real estate in Abuja, you will not regret what you have done. There are many areas in Abuja. There are the developed areas. There are emerging cities in Abuja. So once you invest in Abuja, I don't think you will get it wrong, especially when you do it in the right way and follow the instructions we are going to give here. My colleague will also talk about what you should look out for in the legal aspect of investment very soon. Then another top city you can look at investing in Nigeria is Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is also following in the line of Lagos and Abuja, hosting a lot of international oil companies, international conferences. And of course, you know that River State, having Port Harcourt as the capital, is one of the number one oil producing states in Nigeria. So they host a lot of people, a lot of oil companies, a lot of corporate companies that are coming there. So a lot of people are in need of real estate. So once you invest there, you won't get it wrong. Another major city is Ibadan in Oyo. It's also a very good city, a city that you can invest in real estate and you will not regret it. So we may not go on to mention different places, but these are top cities, top 4 cities in Nigeria that you can invest in real estate and you won't regret. Like I said, even if your funds are not enough to invest in major cities, you can invest in smaller cities or even in your village. And I tell you, you will not regret that investment. So this is by city, investing by city, going by the top cities. Then we can also invest by sector. There are key sectors you can invest in real estate. Real estate, we have residential sector where you build houses for people to live. So that is the area we call residential. You can choose to measure or invest in residential housing. You can also invest in commercial housing. Commercial housing is provision of houses that are used for commercial purposes like offices, plazas, stores, malls, shopping plazas, and so on and so forth. There is huge need for commercial as well as residential properties in major cities in Nigeria. People want to live, people want to also find a space to do their work and earn some money. So if you don't want to invest in residential housing, you can choose to invest in commercial sector of Nigerian real estate. Then there is also industrial sector. Industrial real estate is provision of industrial warehouse, industrial facilities, and industrial production houses. So there are areas that are also designated as industrial in these major cities. So you can also provide real estate in those industrial areas. And most people build warehouses there. Most people build factories. Either they produce or they rent or lease out to people who use them to produce. Another sector that is also viable in real estate in Nigeria is agricultural sector, agricultural real estate. You might invest in real estate and rent it out or lease it out for people to engage in farming. There are different types of farming. It could be crop farming, it could be animal husbandry, just anything that will produce food to human beings is agriculture. And you know that food is something that is one of the basic needs of human being. In fact, it's the first basic need of human being, like I mentioned from uh, Abraham Maslow's law. So you find out that people always also need land where they will farm and produce agricultural items for people to eat. So you can invest in land that are designated for agriculture and lease or rent out to people to farm. Now, there are also factors I want you to consider when you are investing in real estate. These factors may include, but not limited to, infrastructure. You need to look at the infrastructural development or deployment in that area. What are you going to enjoy in that area before you invest? When you look at that, it will guide you in making proper investment decision. You also need to look at demand. What is the demand for that area? If that area is highly demanded for residential, that means you should invest in residential. If the area is highly demanded for commercial real estate, then you should look at investing in commercial. If it's agriculture, then that is what you should invest in that area. So you cannot go and invest or build residential houses in a place that is designated industrial area or agricultural area. If you don't do your investigation very well, you may not be able to reap the investment you have done. So you need to look at those factors before you know where to invest. And you also, of course, because you need to look at security of that area. Nobody wants to invest in a place that is prone to security challenges. You need to do your investigation well to know and understand the security available in any particular area you want to invest. Then, of course, everybody wants huge return on investment. You need to understand the potential for that return on investment in the area you want to invest. Those are the factors, but not limited to them, that you need to consider before you invest in any place. Of course, you also need to consider the legal title document, of which my colleague is going to talk about them shortly. So let's look at the next slide, which is talking about the investment strategies and funding options that you can adopt in Nigeria. There are different ways you can invest. There are different strategies you can use. Number one, you can invest with your personal funds. Of course, you can save up funds and use your personal money to invest. You can also take up loans, commercial mortgages, either from commercial banks or mortgage banks. You can structure that, and it will help you to pull funds together to invest, because real estate investment is huge, and it requires a huge capital layout. Then you can also turn to real estate investment trust, REITs. REITs are trusts that pool funds together to invest in real estate and share the profits. If you are not able to pool to invest in a real estate by pulling funds together, you can come together as a group of friends or form a cooperative to pull funds together and form a REIT, which is known as Real Estate Investment Trust, and invest with the hope of sharing the profits or sharing the returns. You can also do joint ventures and partnerships. It's more like the REIT, but this one is just directed to one person or two. If you are not able to put your funds together to build or to buy land and build, either you have land, you don't have money to build, you can enter into joint venture, JVs, provide your land as equity, and an investor will come in and bring funds and develop the land, and both of you will share the profits from selling whatever that is built on that land. So joint ventures or partnership is a strategy you can deploy in investing in real estate. It can come in different ways. Even if you don't have money to buy a particular property, you can call your friends together, you pool funds together, drop an agreement, buy the land, and agree on what to do with the real estate when it's done. Another strategy you can use to invest in real estate is called off-plan property investments. Off-plan property investments. Off-plan property investments. What we call off-plan property investment is buying a property even when it is before it is completely developed. When a property starts being developed, you can pay into it and pay gradually before it's now fully developed. This also strategy helps you to get good return on investment, get pricing at the initial stage, because most of these properties, when they are fully built and fully developed, the price will be very high. But if you invest in off plan, when a property is being built, when it has just started being built, you buy it at a lower price. You have advantage of following through the construction process. You have an advantage of even making your inputs in what you want to be in the house. You have an advantage of monitoring the construction project, the process. And you also have an advantage of making profits already, high returns from your investment before the property is completed. It would have gone very high. Those are the background of things you need to understand in real estate investment. And the next is for us to understand the property ownership and title documentations that are involved in real estate. And I would want my colleague, by Stephanie, to also talk to us on that aspect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Godswill. While we wait for Barrister Ifeanyi to join us, I would like to share a quick fun facts about our guests today. So Godswill was in the Glory House at school, and Barrister Ifeanyi was in the Charity House. A side fun fact as well, I was appointed to be in the Glory House myself, but I changed myself to Peace House. I'm sure most of you did the same. If you had friends in other houses, you wanted to go join your friends in the other house. So that was pretty interesting. And another quick fun fact is both of our guests admitted to doing what they call mobile living. I have never heard of this when I was in FGC. So this is a new term for me. What it means is, they would always try to dodge senior boys and walk around or go to other buildings to avoid, how senior boys were in FGC, Port Harcourt, just to avoid being or taken or provisions and things of that nature. So both of them indulged in mobile living. So there you have it. And I'm trying to see if our other speaker is available. I will share another quick fun facts. Godswill, he said, was popularly known as Umesi. So most of his friends called him that. And Ifeanyi had a nickname, Rice. I don't know how he got that, but he said he got the name because he was always boiling rice with iron buckets in the dormitory. So now you know what he used to do in the dorms. And I think Ifeanyi is available. Okay, we're fine. So those are our quick fun facts. Both of our guests as well are married with families, trying to balance their life and their work life as well. And Ifeanyi is back in the lobby. So we will now transition back to Barrister Ifeanyi. Barrister Ifeanyi. We're waiting to add to the meeting. 1 second. Okay, we have a little technical difficulty this morning, so please bear with us. And we'll just keep going on fun facts path. God's will, is there anything else you would like our fellow class team members of 98 Set to know about you that you would like to share?
Okay, I'll remember there are many things that were involved in FGC then. I want to also, one of the things I did, I was the Glory House prefect at my time, that was in SST. But before then, I was participating in sports, inter-house sports. I was running for Glory House and also FGC. I know that some of the times we were able to represent the school in different secondary schools in Port Harcourt then, and it was very fun. We enjoyed it going to represent FGC, Port Harcourt, in different.
Awesome. So you did running. What other sports did you do for inter-house sports? Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher in FGC?
My favorite teacher then, Mrs. Grace. Like she was my guardian. Then she knew me from Aba because I was born and raised in Aba. So she was also in Aba. She knew me from then. So she will always taunt me and talk different things when she enters class. She was our social studies mistress, and well, because of senior boys, I usually keep my provision in her house. So when we do mobile life and run around, sometimes we enter her house, take some portions of provision and eat. So when she comes to class, she will first of all yab me before starting to to lecture. So people were always looking out for her when before starting up with her teaching. So she was actually my favorite, and I enjoyed her. It's been long I saw her.
Awesome. And last question, what was your favorite subject? Then we'll get into the questions.
Okay, my favorite subject in SS class was government. Government. I enjoyed it, and I had A in my senior work in government. I really enjoyed government.
Wow.
Then followed by biology. The biology because I can draw. I'm actually a born artist, so when they say draw this, label this, I was good in drawing different diagrams, human parts, skeletal parts, and all those things. So I enjoyed
Okay.
biology.
Awesome. That's very good. Okay, so while we're waiting for Ifeanyi, we can get into
Thank
some of
you.
your questions, God's will, if that's okay. So I'm just going to
Sure,
ask the
sure.
first
That's very fine.
question. Awesome. And when you have a question for God's will as well, please put it in the chat. The first question, you talked about, different sectors for real estate investments. Do we have a particular sector
Yes.
that shows more potential for growth, in your opinion?
In my opinion, in fact, the different sectors that I mentioned actually give good return on investment. But in my opinion, the residential sector gives more return on investment. Why? Because people always look for where to live. Because we have population explosion. Like I said, we have more than 250 million Nigerians, and people are giving birth every day. People are migrating from suburban cities to urban cities. People are moving from villages to urban cities. They will always look for. So you find out that residential real estate is always increasing more than every other sector. And now that you have the growth of remote working experience, many people can actually work from their home. So you find out that even the company will actually set up their office in their home and work remotely. So residential real estate is top priority in the real estate sector, followed by commercial.
Wow, that's very insightful. Thank you for sharing that information. So if anyone is interested,
You're
you
welcome.
have it right there. Residential is priority if you're trying to invest, and then commercial as well. So let's go to another question. What do you foresee? Oh, we have Ifeanyi now, so we'll get back to the questions at the end. Welcome back, Ifeanyi. So hand it over to you.
The next slide, please.
Ifeanyi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, okay. Sorry, we're here for the legal aspects of land ownership in Nigeria. First of all, I'd like to say that all land in Nigeria belongs to the Nigerian government. The state governors, actually, in all the states in Nigeria, the state governors. Then in Abuja, it belongs to the FCT minister or FCT administration. Um, this was in 1979 Land Use Act. That's when this became official. Now, all land, as it belongs to the government, is granted to different individuals for 99 years, starting from 1979. So nobody totally owns land in Nigeria. The government owns all the land. Then when somebody buys that, you sell your land, doesn't vitiate the 99 years. It's still there. It's not doesn't start afresh. 99 years is still counting from 1979. Doesn't start afresh. You just change owner. You just change. You only have occupancy. You only have occupancy of the land. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to change. You're supposed to go and register in the land registry in the different states, or ages in Abuja. Or ages in Abuja. So what next? Can you go to the next slide? I think I'm done with land. The land. Okay. Title. Now talk about title. CFO, that's Certificate of Occupancy, is the most superior form of title in Nigeria. It's granted by a state governor or FCT minister. What I don't understand in Lagos State is something called governor's consent. I don't know if it is the equivalent of the certificate of occupancy in Nigeria. The next title, next most superior title in Nigeria is ROO, right of occupancy. It's granted by, at least I know of Abuja, it's also granted by this FCT minister. It's granted by the FCT minister. It's a step before the certificate of occupancy. You apply for it. After that, you now apply for the CFO. Then before you get the CFO. And what to do before buying land. I don't know if that's the next. What to do before buying land. Well, a search is the most important thing to do before buying land in Nigeria. So that you either do a search in the various ministries of lands, state ministries of land in different states, or in Abuja AGIS. AGIS is an acronym for AGIS, Abuja Geographical Information System. So you do a search to know if the land is free from all the encumbrances. And that also doing a search in Nigeria also makes you know what the purpose of land is. Like Obina stated earlier on, there are different purposes. There's residential plot, there's commercial, there's industrial, there's farming, agriculture. Even in the commercial, they have commercial specified. At least I'm talking about Abuja, and commercial unspecified. In commercial specified, you could have hotel. It's stated as hotel or plaza or petrol station and all that. So another purpose for doing search is so you have a trail. You have a trail, and just in case you want to do, let's say, go for a bank loan or something, you because when you have a trail, what is before buying land? The one, okay, are you there? Hello, network. Okay, so you have a trail. It's when you buy a land, you're supposed to change the ownership register. You're supposed to register the land, change the ownership of the land. So they also, when you do a search, you also show you the previous owners from the first allottee down to where you're down to the last person that's about selling to you. That's what's the then title when it comes to title as well. And there are estate plots that they are in various cities. There are estate developers that have what they call estate plots. Now, these ones the estate developers have the title document. They don't give it to an individual. They have the title documents. They don't give it to an individual. What they now do is when you're doing a search for estates, they only give you a copy. You do a search for the authenticity of that estate plot, make sure everything is okay, is the actual owners, or that plot was actually meant for an estate. They won't give you will not have that data. But when you buy, the estate developer after it sells to you, the developer gives you a letter of allocation, a deed of assignment. That's for estate lots. But you will not give, but that alone is serves as your own personal title. You can now take it, do whatever you want to do with it. Let's say take a loan and all that. Your personal property, your proof of ownership. You will not have a CFO. They have the CFO, the ARFO. That's for estate plots. Then general, it's also important to note that when buying lands, generally, not just apart from estate lands, when buying lands, after you've bought, you make sure you register it in either AGs or in the state's registry, land registry. So that makes it officially yours because it's not really proper to have bought land and documents still in somebody else's name. It's in somebody else's name. It has to be in your name so things be clearer. And also makes sure, it also finalizes your ownership. It seals it, make sure it seals it. So, like I said, hello. That's about it for legal aspects of buying land. But it's also important. One other thing I would like to add in this is that I'm done with the legal aspects. One other thing I would like to add is that in 2019, last year, 2024, the NBS, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, says that real estate in Nigeria has overtaken the oil sector as the third largest sector in Nigeria. So it shows how big it is. Like God's said earlier, we have the population, very large population. There's a market. So there's a need for property, be it residential, be it commercial, and all that. Farming it only makes sense when they said that it has become the third largest um, sector in Nigeria as of today. The survey came out January this year, not this year. I think that's my last. That's my last slide. In conclusion, call to action. I think the government should also help in financing land for easy for to make it easy for people to buy land and develop properties. It should be more the mortgage banks should be alive to their duty, make it less cumbersome for people to buy access loans, access mortgages. Because I mean, with the more developed countries, people can access loans for mortgages for 25, 30 years, but Nigeria is a bit difficult. So it should be that then the economy is more stable, then people the economy is more stable, people will be able to um people will be able to afford more properties in Nigeria. That's about that. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Barrister Ifeanyi. Lots and lots of great information. Thank you to our guest speakers for sharing all this insightful information with us. I believe we have all gained some more clarity and understanding of the emerging trend in real estate in Nigeria, including property ownership, as well as the steps you need to take for your title documentation if you do buy land or real estate in Nigeria. So with that, we can segue into our questions. As a reminder, if you have any questions for our guests, please post it in the chat and we'll begin going through those questions and they'll give their feedback. So let's dive into more questions and anyone can answer. How do you foresee Nigeria's real estate market evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I believe Nigeria's real estate will always keep climbing. It can never decline because the population growth, is population explosion. So there's need for real estate. Like I said earlier on, be it residential, people need to live in places, people need to go to work somewhere. So to keep on growing. Then also it never depreciates. It never depreciates in value. Monetary value, that's what I mean. Never depreciates. It keep climbing. Depending on the city you buy, even no matter the city you buy land in or properties in, it will keep appreciating. So it keeps growing, it will keep growing. I can't say where it will be, but it will keep growing by the next 5 to 10 years. Real estate is something that never depreciates.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ifeanyi. And then,
In addition to in addition, sorry, I foresee Nigerian real estate having a lot of high-rise apartments, especially in cities like Lagos, Port Harcourt, where you don't have much lands like Abuja. So they try to economize the little available lands to get much houses they need. So you find out that 5, 10 years from now, there will be a lot of high-rise residential apartments in cities.
yeah, thank you, Godswill. That does make a lot of sense because of our population growth and not enough land to keep building and expanding. It makes sense to have, high-rise apartments. So that's very good information. So another question we have is, any one of you, could you please explain the common challenges people may face with property ownership and title documentation in Nigeria?
Okay, despite the potentials of real estate in Nigeria, we have said it. By Stefan has said, I am sure he will also throw more light on it. There are also areas that comes with land disputes. If you are not able to do your land due diligence very well before you invest, you might find yourself getting into a land that has a lot of disputes. So that is one of the challenges that you can face when you are investing in real estate. That is major. If you are not able to solve that, you find yourself investing in a land that you'll be going to court, from a high court to appeal court to Supreme Court, and it will make you lose veritable investment. Then another challenge is also high cost of construction. High cost of construction is also a challenge in real estate because as inflation is increasing, materials of construction is increasing, and the bulk is being passed to final consumer. Inconsistent government policies, some inconsistent government policies and fluctuations. As at now, real estate is contributing the third highest in Nigerian GDP. So there is a lot of attention in real estate. So you will expect some inconsistent policies that might trump up, that might be a challenge to investors. So when you look at all these things and be able to do proper due diligence, it will guide you through the rough waters of real estate investment. I am sure by Stefani will talk about resolution in real estate.
Thank you, Godwill. Do you have anything to add, Barrister Fine?
Well, you said more or less everything I would have said. I have in mind to say.
Awesome. Thank you. So we do have another question from the audience. K Reels has a question that says, I had bought a property 3 years ago and have the survey plan. No C of O yet. I visited the site about 3 weeks ago and someone has put up a "this land is not for sale" sign. How do I tackle this challenge?
First of all, try and locate where the owner, the buyer, the seller, the person that sold the land to you. Locate the person. Ask what the problem is. After that, if you're not satisfied, you can always go to court, because if you can always go to court and get an order stopping anybody from building the land while you're in court and all that. So it's only court that can resolve it. If it's a criminal aspect, if it's a case of fraud where the person that sold the land, maybe because he didn't do due diligence or something, if it's a case of fraud, you need to involve the police. Track the person that sold the land to you. Then they will call all parties together, you, the person that sold the land, and the person that has put up the signboard. That's all. But also, you need to do it as quickly as possible, because there's a time frame for land. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on what they call in law. They say don't sleep on your rights. There's a time frame for land related matters in courts. I'm not so sure. I think it's 12 years, even it's a very long time. But act as quickly as possible. Then don't be scared, even if the person starts building. As long as, if at the end of the day it's clear that the land belongs to you, even no matter what the person has put on that land, it belongs to. There's a legal maxim that says what is affixed on the land belongs to the land. I'll give you a clear example or a real life example. The NDDC headquarters, or I don't know, not the current headquarters, the former headquarters on Aba Road, NDDC headquarters, it belongs to somebody else. I've forgotten his name. It belonged to somebody else. Then not forcefully took the land. He was in court. Then in that period, the bachelor died and all that. So he now won the court case. When it was bare land, when he took it, and it was the then governor that was putting up the structure. When they now gave the land to, awarded the land to him, he took the land and the structure. So just keep on fighting legally. You should go the criminal aspects and the civil aspects. Thank you. Hello. I'm here. I can't hear. Sorry. Hello.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are now.
Thank you. Thank you, Barrister Fine, for that feedback. Kirill,
Yes, you're audible now.
I hope that helped answer your question on your next steps you need to take. And then we had another question for the group. This person says, as 98 sets, can we build an estate for rent together for those interested? And we have the expertise, legal, etc. So that's something everyone can think about, I guess, and we can talk about it in the WhatsApp group, because that would need everyone's input. So we're still open for questions.
Yes. So definitely we can do that. Just like I explained earlier, there are many ways you can invest in real estate. It can come under the joint venture or partnerships where we can pool funds together, get a piece of land, develop it, sell or rent, and definitely mutually share the benefits. It's up.
Amazing. Thank you for the feedback. God's will. Another question in the chat is, how can Nigerians in the diaspora who purchase real estate protect their assets from a distance?
Okay, you protect your assets the same way every other person protects, even if you're living in Nigeria or you're abroad. First of all, personally, this is my personal opinion. The safest pieces of land to buy are estate lands because it's a communal piece of land. So what happens to one happens to all. So that way, in a way, it's a way if you've secured yourself. Then from time to time, even if you have bought properties, from time to time you can send somebody to keep an eye on the place. It could be the person that sold to you, or it could be a relative or a friend to just be checking up on the land. But it's very, very difficult. First of all, it's also very difficult to encroach in estate lands. Very difficult to encroach. Now, if it's not an estate land, that's not to say that you cannot buy a non-estate plot. You can buy a non-estate plot, but try as much as possible to secure it by fencing the property. That way, encroachment will be difficult to occur. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barrister Ifeanyi. So I hope that helps who asked the question. Another question we have is, what opportunities do you see for, I think it's similar to the last one, but it says, what opportunities do you see for international investors looking to enter the Nigerian market?
Oh, well, opportunities for international investors. Like I said, Obunas and I have said severally, our population growth is very encouraging for investors. You can't lose. It's just the only problem is maybe for the exchange, the cost of the exchange rate. That might be an issue for some people to buy, but for some people to buy, because you're not looking at making money from it, as in you're not looking at making gain compared to what you put. But in naira, if you have need for naira, you have an investment here that can yield money for your naira. So you don't need to touch your personal or your other money wherever you're based. So you have an investment that's yielding something for you. So it's very lucrative, just like any other person. It's booming, and it's only get better. So thank you very much.
And
Thank
I
you.
will also add for uh, our, our family and friends in diaspora, I will also add that is as it's booming, like Ifeanyi said, is even at the right time for you to invest now, because if you look at the exchange rate between foreign currency and naira, you find out that once you convert to naira, you have considerably
Yeah, that's too
more
much.
amount of money to invest in real estate. And, so, as if I said before, real estate doesn't depreciate. I'm an accountant, even in finance. All assets depreciate except land. So he wants to invest in real estate, even if it's land without building anything on it, it keeps appreciating year in, year out. And if you eventually build something on it, it will continue giving you rental income. So this is the right time for our colleagues, our friends and family in diaspora to pump in funds into real estate. Of course, it's the third largest sector in Nigeria now.
Awesome. Thank you, Godswill and Ifeanyi. And we have another question from the audience. It says, what happens to a property when the 99 years of government lease runs out? Does the property go back to the government?
Yes, it goes back to the government after the 99 years to go back to the government. But we know that's not something that it's going to happen anytime soon. And I'm talking about 99 years from 1979. So it will go back to the government, and they will reallot it to different people, or sell to different people.
Okay. So once the 99 years is over, you give us what the next step should be, right? If you want to keep having that property.
Yes, God willing.
Yeah. For example, some people buy land, right? And it's in a family, and you want your children or your children's children to have that land. So they just have to be aware of, following the right process to make sure they keep the land, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And we have another question from Nee. The question is, I have a land in Lagos, but it's over 5 years, and
Yes, of course.
I have not been allocated a plot yet. What can I do?
Well, first of all, is it an estate land? You didn't specify, or is it just an individual land? That's very necessary. That's very necessary. That would have helped us answer the question easier. But generally speaking, if it's an estate, you should go back to the estate. If it's an estate land, go to the developer and ask what the problem is. Ask other if it's a, then you also ask other people, other subscribers, to know what they're doing and all that. Then, if it's a normal property, as in an open property, you track the person you bought it from and ask why it has not been allocated. That's just it. That's all you need to do.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Nee, for your question. I hope that helps you in your quests on your land. Let's see, we have more questions coming in. VO says there have been several instances where the government has exercised their rights and forcefully retrieved lands from the purchasers. Are you aware if the owners are adequately compensated?
Well, I believe what I don't know about is what you mean by adequately compensated, because but I do believe that government would compensate such people when the government exercises their rights and revokes land. The revocation of land, if you did not default, now it might be revoked because you have not developed such properties. Because like in Abuja, there's a time frame for development of properties. If it remains fallow for a very long time, the government can revoke such lands. If for no reason the government has the right to take the land back, but they will compensate you. It's just like if they're doing development and all that. If there's a development or like in Abuja here, there's a community, I've forgotten the name, because they wanted to build a second or a new runway in Abuja Airport. They took all the land there and they compensated the community about 7 and something million. I'm not so sure of the figures. So I think there's adequate compensation. As long as there's a value to the land, you get an estate value and you have the discussion with the government and they would compensate you.
Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Any other questions? We can take one more before we begin to wrap up today's show. All right. So I would like to thank our audience. Thank you for staying with us, participating in today's. Oh, go ahead, please.
And when you talk about most people are giving you money. There are many ways government can compensate you for land. Land is land. According to the law, land is land, whether it's in Maitama or in Kuje or in Lagos. So governments might they can actually give you another land. Also do compensation. So the compensation may not necessarily be monetary value. It can also compensate you with another land in another location. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Godswill. And we'll take the very last question before we begin to wrap up. So the question is, what is your take in obtaining a loan for real estate today in Nigeria? Real estate with regards to building to rent. Is this advisable in today's climate? And if yes, which organizations should we approach for this?
Gus, you want to take that?
It's advisable. It's advisable depending on the terms of the loan. You do a proper uh, financial analysis to understand what is involved, what are you going to get from the real estate your organization is charging you. Like if I said, most mortgage or commercial institutions in Nigeria may not offer you long-term loans like you have in abroad, 25 years, 20 years, which is a problem in financing real estate in Nigeria. However, you can still get institutions that will give you short-term loans like 5 years and below that can help you to construct and pay back. So you do a comparative analysis of the rate of the loan and what you're going to get from the estate or property you want to build.
And also, if I may add,
There are
that's
commercial banks that are ready to give loan. There are mortgage institutions that are also ready to.
Okay, thank you, Godswill. If you wanted to add something?
There's also something called the NHF, National Housing Fund. The National Housing Fund, if you have been contributing, you apply for it, then you get an NHF number. After that, you will be if you are funded or if you have your regular income earner, there's a way they would calculate it and you can have access to loan for housing. It's called the National Housing Fund. I think you can do more research on it, but you have to be a steady earner. You have to be contributing, I think, monthly or so. So it's
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister Ifeanyi. So those are the questions we can take for today because of time. If you have more questions, our guest speakers will provide their contact information, social media contacts as well. Would you guys like to shout it out now, or we can put that later on in WhatsApp for the group to access?
Well, you can put it on WhatsApp. That way, even if we say it now, people might not remember it. So let it be on the group. Since
Absolutely.
everybody here.
Okay, sounds awesome. So I want to thank again, the audience. Thank you for hanging with us. All your questions, very good questions. It shows we were all paying attention. So thank you so much. And I also want to thank our guest speakers, Godswill and Ifeanyi. Thank you for sharing with us
You're welcome.
your in-depth knowledge on real estate, the things to look out for if you're planning to invest, and the things to do your due diligence if you want to also go into the real estate market. So thank you again for joining, and special thanks to the people behind the scenes that put all this together to make it work today. Chineye, Ogechi, Ibomi, and Tonya, thank you guys so much for all your hard work putting all this together so we can have a good community event. So I appreciate you guys. And stay tuned in the future for more insightful conversations, discussions in our future episodes of The Call. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, make informed investment choices, and have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.
I get the band. Run it. Whoop, whoop. Run up with it back. 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 Run up, run it back. I keep it back and I run it up.